Cooking and eating at home more often means food odors get trapped in your home's fabrics and released back into the air, so you smell last night's dinner the next morning. For an easy way to keep your whole home smelling fresh, try Febreze Fabric Refresher. Febreze's water-based formula deeply penetrates fabrics to eliminate trapped food odors as it dries. Spray Febreze Fabric Refresher when you clean up after meals to ensure your entire home smells fresh and clean. Try Febreze Fabric Refresher. Brand power helping you buy better.
The comedy icon, the one and only Bob Newhart.
The E.T. exclusive.
I spent the day with the comedy legend inside his Hollywood home that is full of incredible memories. He is 92 years old and sharp as a tack. We'll have that for you tomorrow. Now, before we go, Shark Tank star Damon John is all about giving back, and he's gearing up for Black Entrepreneurs Day, presented by Chase for Business. It will take place at a star-studded show October 14th from the historic Apollo Theater in Harlem.
Kevin Hart, Shaquille O'Neal, Tyra Banks, Michael Strahan.
Happening now.
The government is still trying to deal with a surge of Haitian migrants at the border. Coming up, a national organization of African American attorneys and judges now mobilizing to help these refugees in Del Rio. Next.
Parent alert, Bobby is recalling millions of its products after the deaths of 8 babies. Coming up, what parents of newborns should know.
We're in store for another pleasant night. I'll be back to let you know just how cool the temperatures will go, and I'll update you on our rain chances. The News at 5 starts right now.
First at 5, San Antonio police connecting the dots between a woman's disappearance and the discovery of a body in Comal County.
Yeah, today SAPD tells us the body could be that of 32-year-old Crystal Garcia. She's been missing since September 17th. Here's what we know. That body was found last night in a field along York Creek Road near I-35. Right now, an autopsy being conducted to identify the victim. Police were notified of Garcia's disappearance on Saturday after she didn't pick up her twin daughters from her mother. During a welfare check at Garcia's apartment, investigators found blood on a bedroom wall and evidence of blood that had been cleaned up throughout that apartment. A security camera in the kitchen had been removed, but the apartment surveillance camera saw a man leaving Garcia's apartment with a heavy-duty garbage bag. On Sunday, a relative of Francisco Javier Garcia Ventura called SAPD saying the 29-year-old confessed to beating his girlfriend to death and dumping her body in San Marcos. He was reportedly trying to leave to Mexico. Garcia Ventura now facing a charge of evading arrest and tampering with evidence.
San Antonio police are also looking for this young girl, 15-year-old Destiny Nicole de la Russa. She was last seen on Sunday. She was in the 200 block of Wall Street. That's near East South Cross and Clark Avenue. De la Rosa is about 5 feet 2 inches tall. She has brown hair and brown eyes and was last seen wearing a pink shirt, blue jeans, and a Michael Kors belt. If you have any information, you're being asked to call SAPD's Missing Persons Unit at 210-207-7660.
Now to some breaking news out of Tennessee. About a dozen people recovering, 2 people dead after shots were fired inside a Kroger grocery store this afternoon.
It happened in the city of Collierville, that is southeast of Memphis. According to the last update from Collierville Police Chief Dale Lane, a total of 13 people were shot. He says many of them have severe injuries. 1
victim is dead. The shooter also died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Chief Dale Lane says the call came in about 1:30. Officers from various teams made their way in. One employee explains her experience was on what was supposed to be a normal day at work. She says after hearing the sound of gunshots, she, along with some of her coworkers and customers, ran to the back of the building to hide in a break room.
And here he comes right behind us, starts shooting. And he kept on shooting. He shot one of my coworkers in the head, and then shot one of the customers in the stomach. And then my other customer got kind of like cuts because of the asphalt.
I know we found people hiding in freezers and in locked offices, and they were doing what they had been trained to do.
Chief Lane says he expects there could be some more victims. At last check, they were securing the scene and searching the suspect's vehicle in the parking lot, but we still don't know what the motive may be.
Only a few thousand, mostly Haitian migrants, are left below the international bridge in Del Rio this afternoon. The majority of the up to 16,000 people who were there have either been deported or allowed into the U.S. to await their asylum hearings.
And for those who remained and those back in Haiti, there is a promise of pro bono legal help. It's from the nation's largest and oldest association of African-American attorneys and judges. Jesse DeGollado spoke to the organization's president shortly after he arrived in Del Rio.
Much of the world has been watching what's been happening with the mostly Haitian refugees in Del Rio, including the president of the National Bar Association.
We see them, we hear them.
As Carlos Moore put it, they've been dealt a raw deal.
What we have seen is egregious, and it has to stop, and it has to stop soon.
He says those who were sent back weren't given the due process that's required for asylum seekers. So the National Bar Association and many of the Haitian organizations in the U.S. are now working with humanitarian groups in Del Rio on how to best advise the refugees. Moore says even those who've been sent back still have a right to credible fear hearings and interviews since they were deported without due process. Just as disturbing, he says, is how the Haitians have been treated.
Afghans by the ton have been coming in here and getting refuge, and these black people, for lack of a better word, are being treated worse than dogs, and this has to stop.
Jesse DeGollado, KSAT 12 News.
The Haitians are being deported under something called Title 42. It was implemented under the Trump administration and is still being used by the Biden administration. It allows deporting migrants without an amnesty hearing because of COVID concerns, going around due process. The program allows the United States Border Patrol and U.S. Customs to prohibit the entry of persons who potentially pose a health risk. There are a number of attorneys who have challenged Title 42 in court. Two other news from the border. They were thought to be whips being used against Haitian migrants. The Border Patrol says they were actually long reins used by Border Patrol agents to control horses. Either way, the Department of Homeland Security deciding to temporarily pause the use of horse patrols in Del Rio. This after images and video that we showed you earlier this week received tough criticism after circulating on social media. And today, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said an investigation is open to look further into these images and videos, which she previously described as horrific.
I can also convey to you that the Secretary also conveyed to civil rights leaders earlier this morning that we would no longer be using horses in Del Rio. So that is something, a policy change that has been made in response.
Now, the U.S. Border Patrol chief says the Horse Patrol unit was trying to find any people who were in distress when the videos and images were taken. That's open to interpretation. He says if it turns out anything is different than that, the Border Patrol will respond accordingly.
We're keeping our eyes on the border and what's happening down there. You can too. Right now on our website, you can find all of the recent coverage in Del Rio, including this story. And you can stay up to date with any new information that's coming along the border. Just head to ksat.com/border and be sure to type that in all lowercase letters.
We are working to learn the name of a 58-year-old motorcyclist killed this afternoon. San Antonio police say he was hit by a driver in the 1300 block of South General McMullen. A woman driving a Nissan Altima heading south on General McMullen when she made a left turn in front of the victim's motorcycle, which was heading north. At this time, the woman is not expected to face charges.
A chase ending in a crash in Lytle, and now DPS is looking for several people. They say state troopers started following that vehicle into Lytle on State Highway 132 for some reason. The driver lost control during the chase and took out an electrical pole in the parking lot of a Dollar General store.
DPS says 7 people were inside that vehicle. 3 of them ran away, heading towards Bexar County. The driver pinned inside the vehicle had to be airlifted to a San Antonio hospital. Electricity knocked out when that pole was hit. Main Street Lytle, where the crash happened, shut down for about an hour and a half. It is unclear why this chase started.
A man now recovering after he was shot in the face last night. The suspect remaining on the run, though. According to San Antonio police, it happened around 10 while the victim was at a gas station near I-10 and East Houston Street. They say someone started shooting. The victim was hit in the jaw. He managed to drive, though, about 3 miles before he stopped and called 911. He did provide information to investigators, but at last check, no one has been arrested.
The new COVID-19 cases have been on the decline over the last week as states that saw a huge number of Delta variant cases come down off some of those peak numbers.
But public health experts say the U.S. is not out of the woods yet. Chris Winton breaks down the latest.
Despite the average of new COVID-19 cases declining over the past week, health experts say the overall Delta-influenced wave isn't over just yet.
That we're seeing a lot of still fairly young people, under the age of 50, being very, very sick in the hospital and in the ICU.
As colder weather approaches and students return to school, some states, like those in the Northeast, could still see a surge in the weeks ahead.
The challenge is that we already have a flu, and if we have COVID circulating alongside flu, the cumulative death and disease caused by those two pathogens is going to be too much for society to bear.
Across the country, nearly 80% of ICU beds are in use, more than a quarter of those taken up by COVID-19 patients, according to the Department of Health and Human Services. In Ohio, Travis Feltner, a grieving father of 8 who lost his wife this week to the virus, urging others to get vaccinated.
I would never want anybody to go through what I'm going through. It's just a complete nightmare.
This comes as the U.S. is one step closer to rolling out booster shots for those 65 and up, as well as frontline workers and people at a high risk for severe disease who have already received the Pfizer vaccine.
The FDA has already weighed in and said that these booster doses, the third Pfizer dose, is safe and it's effective for people over 65 and people who are at high risk.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
Very fall-like out there today. 56 earlier this morning officially at the airport in San Antonio. Then we topped out at 87, which the high is actually a degree below average. Look elsewhere. Kerrville started the day at 44, 45 in Fredericksburg, Pleasanton 53 earlier this morning. And it does look like we'll have a very similar situation later on tonight. We'll jump into the details on how cool it's going to get where coming up. 92 now Del Rio, 89 Floresville. We're well into the 80s, but it's very comfortable outside with the lack of humidity. Clear sky, calm wind, low humidity, temperatures falling off quickly. By 8 o'clock, upper 70s, 10 o'clock, near 70 degrees. We'll be back to talk about when the humidity returns, temperatures go up, and rain chances are back coming up. But Sam, I know we had a big issue on 410 earlier today. What's the situation with that and what's going on out there?
Well, right now we have a situation, Adam, on 35 near 410 as well. A lot going on. The traffic situation not as spectacular as the weather. This is a rollover here near Space Center Drive. Fire crews on the scene. At least looks like 1 or 2 lanes are actually blocked in that area. So that's how that looks on the map where 35 and 410 come together. That travel time on the east side through that stretch, 20 minutes now. Also, Adam mentioned some issues on 410 as well. This is on the west side. We have a crash here at Highway 90 and at State Highway 151. Stephen Ursula.
Thank you, Samuel. A parent alert now. A popular baby product recalled tonight after the tragic death of several infants. Boppy, a popular name in baby products, pulling millions of its lounge pillows. 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz on the danger all parents of newborns should be aware of.
1 year after the Consumer Product Safety Commission warned parents about the dangers of pillow-like products and sleeping babies, a recall alert. Boppy is recalling more than 3 million lounge pillows after reports of 8 babies accidentally suffocating. The recall is for the Boppy Original and Preferred Newborn Loungers and the Pottery Barn Kids Boppy Newborn Lounger. Why the danger?
Babies can easily roll over into the soft pillow-like fabric, and this blocks their airways and they aren't able to move their bodies and turn over and they suffocate.
In a statement, Boppy said they are committed to doing everything possible to safeguard babies and that the lounger was not marketed as an infant sleep product and includes warnings against unsupervised use. Even so, because infants sleep so much of the time, the CPSC chairman said these Boppy lounger products are simply too risky to remain on the market. The recall does not apply to Boppy's U-shaped nursing pillows, but safety advocates have concerns about misuse of those.
Parents sometimes are tempted to prop their babies up in these pillows and leave them there unsupervised where they might fall asleep.
If you have one of these recalled Boppy loungers, stop using it and contact the company for a refund. Remember, the American Academy of Pediatrics says babies should always sleep on a firm, flat surface away from any pillows. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
The Edwards Aquifer, a vital piece of San Antonio, and while you may not think about it every day, it's no less important. Coming up next, where researchers are going to spend the next decade studying it and why it could mean something for you. If you use water in Bexar County, chances are you are relying on the Edwards Aquifer, at least to some degree.
Yeah, and while it's been studied and regulated for decades, a new 150-acre stretch of land is now the site of an above-ground laboratory where researchers can learn even more. The Edwards Aquifer Field Research Park, located along Cibolo Creek, gifted by the city of San Antonio as part of the Aquifer Protection Program.
The EAA says research is going to take years, but they will have to have a new avenue in order to learn more about the aquifer, studying the land above versus beneath.
We have 151 acres where we can work diligently to try to unlock more secrets about how the system behaves.
We have to continue to maintain flow at the springs and provide water for people. So we have to really understand how climate change might impact things over the next several decades.
You can read more about some of the studies that is taking place right now at the new research park, the Edwards Aquifer, right now on KSAT.com.
Live cam right now, 88 degrees, another beautiful day as Sky 12 flies over the Botanical Gardens. Very nice place to visit in San Antonio, especially when it's in the 80s.
Yeah, when it's in the 80s, you have low humidity. It's fantastic. And there's the little observation deck there on the lower left-hand side of the screen. That's a great view of the city, especially around sunset. It's great shot out there. You know, this morning was actually the coolest reading we've had here in San Antonio, officially at the airport, since April 24th. It's been a long time since we've been down into the 50s like this, and it's going to be another fall-like night ahead of us. The humidity and rain chances, they will return. I mean, we know we can't evade them forever. The humidity is going to be back. Luckily, with it will be some rain chances, so we'll jump into that in just a moment. First, let's take a look outside, talk temperatures and where they're headed this evening and tonight. 87 right now, a pleasant 87. Sunny, dew point of 40. So that gives our relative humidity only 19%. So the air is holding 19% of the moisture that it can at our given temperature of 87. That's why it feels dry outside. You don't feel that stickiness or mugginess out there. Canyon Lake now 84, New Braunfels and Converse 87, Port SA 86, along with Divine, Hondo 89. Fairly similar temperatures, a few 90s. Pleasanton, an even 90 degrees now. Cotulla 92, Carrizo Springs 90. And Del Rio 91. For the most part, we're well into the 80s, some exceptions in low 90s. This evening, though, as the sun sets, a little before 7:30, temperatures will fall off quickly, and most of the evening will be spent in the 70s, then the 60s. And tomorrow morning, we're going to start the day back into the 50s. About 55 Hondo, 53 Kerrville and Fredericksburg, and other nooks and crannies of the hill country will be cooler than that, likely into the 40s again. Canyon Lake starting the day tomorrow at 55. It's going to basically be the same. At the bus stop in the morning, you'll notice that crisp fall-like feel. And I talked to many folks who actually slept with their windows open last night. You can do it again tonight if the allergens don't bother you too much. Fall elm in particular is high, mold, it's moderate again, and we have a few other low allergens. And we'll have that report coming up momentarily. But another pleasant start to the day tomorrow. We will see some minor changes into the weekend, but still comfortable. I mean, highs in the low to mid 60s, which is below average for this time of year. The average is 67. Notice how Monday, morning temperatures back at 70 degrees. That's because the humidity is going to be back in place and you'll feel it. Dew points now, 30s near 40. It's comfortable. Lack of humidity. This stays the same all the way through the weekend. You're not going to notice the mugginess until we get into Monday. But with that early next week, will be some rain chances. Remember, it takes that humidity to help make rain. And right now, there's actually some moisture over the desert southwest. You see this Tucson almost creeping into El Paso, parts of northern Mexico. That's a little disturbance that's developing and will continue to strengthen over the next couple of days. And it's going to cut itself off from the main steering flow in the atmosphere. It's what we call a cutoff low pressure system, upper level low. This upper disturbance is going to park itself over the northern Baja Peninsula basically this weekend. Sunny and comfortable here. it slowly works its way toward us next week. The timing's a little uncertain, and exactly when we could get some good energy from it is uncertain, but what we are anticipating are at least some rain chances from it, especially toward the middle of the week. So at least there's some encouraging news when it comes to the potential for showers and storms. So Monday, a 20% chance, Tuesday, 30%. Then we get toward the middle of the week and up to 40%. But otherwise, nothing but sunshine. Tomorrow, 50s in the morning, 80s in the afternoon, similar through the weekend.
Very pretty. Thank you, Adam.
A pleasant Thursday for high school football. And Greg, there's some big games that are taking place tonight.
Yeah, there are. We're looking forward to those tonight on the Night Beat. We'll be all over the city to cover, including that big one up in New Braunfels between Smithson Valley and the Unicorns. But how about Terrence Steele, ready to make the starting lineup once again, and he knows all about San Antonio Cowboy fans when we come back. And when it comes to the Texans, they'll have some key players out tonight.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
When the Dallas Cowboys host their NFC East rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles, in their home opener on Monday Night Football, marked the 15th start of the early NFL career for former Steel star Terrence Steele. He was forced into action last year in his rookie season as an undrafted free agent during the COVID-19 pandemic, and again this year due to the 5-game suspension of Lael Collins for violating the NFL substance abuse policy. Terrence tells us he spent this offseason working on strength at his lower extremities and has slimmed down from 320 to 310. He's also very well aware of how much Alamo City loves the Cowboys from his time at Steele High School.
The fan base in San Antonio is crazy. It's everyone down there loves their Cowboys, and their emblems are everywhere, back of cars, just the front. People got flags in their front yard and stuff. But San Antonio they had a huge fan base out there.
All right, the Houston Texans are a go tonight when they host the undefeated Carolina Panthers on Thursday Night Football. We already know that Tyrod Taylor is out at quarterback due to a hamstring injury, which means rookie Davis Mills will get his first NFL start ever. But one of their top receivers, Danny Amendola, will miss tonight's game, also out with a hamstring injury, along with two of the Texans' top defensive stars. Safety Justin Reed and linebacker Kamu Grugier-Hill are both suffering from knee injuries. With Amendola out, will the Texans running backs need to provide more support now to take some of the pressure off of the rookie?
Most definitely. We're going to try to help him out running the ball, making it a lot less stressful for him. You know, as a rookie, I was there, everybody was there, and the best thing that you can have is a great, especially veteran group that we have, and then guys who you can lean on to talk to about it.
All right, kickoff tonight is set for 7:20 at NRG Stadium. San Antonio Spurs announcing today that they will hold training camp starting on Monday at their practice facility on the northwest side. It'll be the start of a rebuilding year after DeMar DeRozan agreed to a sign-and-trade deal that makes him now a Chicago Bull. Rudy Gay signed with Utah, and the last holdout from the 2014 championship team, Patty Mills, is now a Brooklyn Net. Now it's all about the young guns from DeJounte Murray, Derek White, Lonnie Walker IV, and new faces such as the draft picks Joshua Primo and Joe Weiskamp, and free agent center Jacques Landale off the Australian national team. It all starts Monday, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, 9 a.m.
Monday, Spurs training camp. That snuck up on me.
Just crazy.
Yeah. Thanks, Greg.
Got it.
We'll be right back.
Before you go, we have new information from University Health. They're going to begin offering booster shots at the Wonderland of the Americas Mall starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
The booster shots are for those 65 years old and older or 18 years and older with an underlying health condition. We do have more information on these booster shots on KSAT.com. Thanks for watching the News at 5.
World News up next. See you back here at 6.